You just mentioned that every country has its own problems and every country has its own disease. So what the major disease of Ukraine and European, from your perception?
Major disease of Ukrainians and Europeans?
No, Ukraine.
Like, we have many discussions, and I recently, had a lecture at Harvard talking about that, and even yesterday we had conversations. So my opinion,
it was off the records.
Yeah, my deepest reckon and my deepest belief is that Ukrainian nation faces the biggest enemy, which is distrust. We distrust in our government, we distrust in our countrymates, in our neighbors, in our peers, in the other Ukrainians, and what's worse of all, we distrust in ourselves. And these three levels, you ask about society. You don't ask me about personal people. I think that there is a little amount of people who do have this belief in themselves, who are confident, and who partly also, so that's three levels of trust that we need to overcome, need to fulfill, or reach, approach, before we become a prosperous and developed country. The first, the most basic, is to overcome, to defeat distrust in yourself. So to become confident. I think that we have probably these people who are standing on Maidan, mostly they do have, they already have have overcome this main level of distrust. Then when you achieve that, you need to overcome the second level of distrust and defeat the second distrust in your friends, your neighbors, your families, your peers, your countrymates. So you need not only be confident in yourself, but somebody else, and that's much more difficult. We don't have that much people. And once again, there is no excuse for that, but I don't want to blame everybody. It takes time. So even if I or you feel confident and we somehow soared up from the very first point of unconfidence, so we already doing better, we understand what we want in life. Next big fence that stops us is distrust in our friends, peers, and countrymen. So in a society. And then I'm strong, but I don't believe you. You're strong, but you don't believe me. And that's together we can do nothing. We achieve zero. We can deal. Then, if we overcome this, the third most important fence we need to overcome is distrust in government. So, but I think that if we will establish mutual level, high level of mutual distrust within the society, it will be much easier for us to approach this third level, to overcome the third fence. And that's the biggest enemy of Ukraine. You can ask about the consequences. Why did it happen? So there are many of them. There are many, not consequences, sorry, many causes and conditions under which this distrust occurred and emerged and flourished. I don't think that there is one. It's cultural, historical, geographical, many things, geopolitical, many factors that brought us into this up to this point. But it doesn't mean that we don't need to change it. I think before we change this, before we get rid of distrust, we won't achieve any significant achievements. And I think it's much more important than corruption. Corruption actually is one of the consequences of this distrust, frankly speaking. But it's much more important than corruption. It's much more important than poor technologies or like, or geopolitical positions, or external enemies, or external friends, or lack of money, present lack of money. It's much more important. And one of the other very important changeable conditions and causes of distrust is lack of a proper education. And proper education, by that I mean not literacy. By that I mean not degree in the school or university, or like high level of knowing algebra or geometry. By that I mean like widths of our perspectives, the ability to understand, feel, and analyze the surrounding world and ourselves and other people. So we are not very strong in that. We need to, and I think that's partly brings to this distrust as well.
If we are talking about the education, what the major lesson you were taught in Yale during the last time you spent there?
They don't teach you in Yale.
No. It's like your personal lesson you were taught in Yale.
There are many of them. I'm still not ready to talk about that. I need this month and a half to. I think that's a very good time, like 4 or 5 months should pass before you're ready to conclude some things. But my first understanding that came to me was that this country, I mean the United States of America, created a very strong elite. So the elite in this country is very strong. Probably there are not so many of these people, but those who do care, who are confidants of the country, who are on the frontier, both cultural, scientific, financial, geopolitical, who are on the frontier, who are the pioneers, they are very strong. And I think that the lay of these people, although it's narrow relatively to the whole population, but it's still the biggest in the world. That's one thing. The other thing is, especially about Yale, because the Yale is a very strong in liberal arts. So probably it's not number one school in business, probably it's not number one school in IT. You have Harvard, you have Stanford, but liberal arts, which mean this width, wisdom, and this deep mindset, I think they are one of the best in the world to come and to develop.